Welcome back, everyone, to the Emerging Growth Capital Conference. Sorry, we're happy to introduce our next presenter. We have NWTT Capital Inc. on the OTC. It's NWTT. It was founded in 1996 and has the long-term goal to become the leader in the clean energy sector through lithium mining, carbon sequestration, and emerging new technologies. Please welcome its CEO, Cedric Yengo. Welcome, Cedric.
Welcome, Anna.
We're happy to hear your presentation. So whenever you're ready, take it away.
I'll just shoot right away.
Great.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. My name is Cedric Yengo. I've been issued the opportunity to lead NWTT. NWTT was founded in 1996. That's just a few years before I was born. And we are a long-term player in the clean energy revolution. Precisely, I was born and raised, please wear our slides. I was born and raised in Central Africa till the last few years. And my background involved technology, sale of construction equipment, real estate, and a few other issues. So based on that background, coming to the United States over the last few years as a refugee, learning about how we're all adapting to the clean energy movement and having the opportunity to learn firsthand from more experienced players in this industry, I have an unwavering passion to go back home in the next couple of months, particularly Central Africa and the Republic of Congo, to mine lithium, an area with which I have some personal experience, and our team is on the way right there. Please, how do I have access to our presentation, Anna? The slides. Hello?
The slides are in your slides tab.
Okay. 1 second, please. I cannot access that. Ryan, please, for directions.
Yeah, right above our names, just like we did yesterday. There's a slides tab that has your slide deck in it.
Okay. So these are the key main areas in which we are going to go about our mission. First is lithium mining. I took over NWTT together with my team a few weeks ago. And we are focused on only three things: improving shareholders' value, taking good care of our employees and our customers. The first thing we will do, or we're working on right now, is tying with local miners on the ground, of course, which we have personal relationships with. So right now we are going through the deal terms of our joint venture and our relationships, so we can begin execution. So that's the first thing we will be getting to you guys. Will be learning about in the next couple of weeks. The next thing is carbon credit sequestration. Some of you now, when you want to buy your air tickets, you are now asked to offset your carbon footprints and all that, for those who understand that space. The entire Congo Basin is very strategic in the carbon sequestration. And while we do the lithium mining in the best possible practices, as we'll be doing out there, we will be working constantly in sequestering carbon in that part of the world. That is the next most important aspect this company will focus on. My background involved software development a little over a decade ago, And as an emerging company, young leaders in the long-term game, we will be interested in acquiring, partnering, merging, joint venturing with strategic emerging technologies across the entire board of technology. We are a diversified holding company. So whatever we are convinced that is strategic, is innovative, and is good to increase our shareholders' value, we will strictly consider that and consider that for acquisitions. That's basically it. We just took over a few weeks ago, and not much has been done already. We are still finalizing post takeover proceedings. So I'll go straight into questions without any much waste of time.
Okay, well, we do have a few questions, and feel free to maybe talk a little bit more about your company so that our audience can ask more questions once they hear more about you. But we do have a few to start. Let's start with Cade Carter. What is the dollar evaluation of the mine you're working with?
Okay, right now, of course, I'm very careful about the statements I make. Right now, we are working with a local mining company in Cameroon, my country of birth. They are at this moment profitable in gold mining and doing R&D on lithium mining. So we are finalizing the deal. I'll be shallow on that until it is executed.
And can you talk about revenue forecasts and explain your business models a little bit more, please?
Lithium mining is a long-term game. We are finalizing the business plan at this moment. It's a long-term game. It's not a quick in and out. And we want to stay in this and be leaders in this because we have the experience on the ground as far as handling all the lobbying is concerned. I was, without being personal, I have a lot of experience in politics from my birth and family. So it's a long-term game. We are passionate about it, and we want to lead that space in Cameroon and Congo. So we are long-term players.
Okay. Daryl Webster wants to know what your current burn rate is, and are you raising money to support it?
Right now, we just took over, and we are actively seeking funding for the project.
Okay. And we have a few more questions about your current revenue model. Can you explain that a little bit more? And when do you expect to start generating sales?
Okay, for the gold mining, as soon as we joint venture, that will be our sustainability machine because we are very careful not to bleed to death in the lithium mining. That's a little more tricky and underdeveloped. And we are going, I don't want to use the word against, we are going where you have entrenched gorillas like the Chinese, the Australians, and the Europeans. They are heavily entrenched there with billions of dollars. The only unfair advantage we have right now is that we are the people. I am the local African that it is our villages, it is our language, it is our decision. So that's the only unfair advantage I have. And but we are going against entrenched gorillas. We'll make immediate profit from the gold because that is something that we are already exploiting. That helps us during the R&D, the exploration of lithium, not to bleed to death. So that as we are making immediate profit from the gold mining, we are plowing it back into more research and development for the lithium mining while cleaning up the entire chain from exportation to importation into the United States, which is highly regulated because, as we already know, lithium is a critical mineral.
It is.
Our goal is we have not seen enough players from the United States in this space on the ground out there. It looks like we have more of the Chinese and the Australians and the Europeans brave into that space because of the rumors of war. Let me use that choice of word. But to us, if we don't do it, someone else will do it. And the United States, big players in the automobile industry, cannot keep depending on China for this critical mineral. I mean, you know, being aware of the political atmosphere. So we want to lead and support United States automobile industries to break in that ground. That's why we will be counting a lot on their support. We really appreciate the SEC's recent moves to push for public companies to be, you know, report their climate emissions and be more climate responsible. So we really work very hard with these stakeholders, you know, to make sure that we lead the United States into direct supply of lithium from Africa to supply its need in the United States. We, like I said, we are young, we are passionate, we are focused on this space.
Great. Stephen White has kind of a follow-up question. He says he's not familiar with this type of mining. So can you explain the use and demand of what you were mining?
In the most basic choices of what, lithium is a mineral used for batteries for his laptop, his phones, electric cars, and scooters, electric bikes, you know, etc.
And what's the demand of the product?
With the whole negative effects of climate change, which we are all experiencing directly or indirectly, nations are coming together and pushing really hard for clean energy, for forms of clean energy. And let me kind of joke, you know, with the recent gas prices, most people are wishing they had electric cars, so they just have to plug and run. But most importantly is to make sure that we are not destroying our climate while running our day-to-day activities. So that is a critical mineral that is highly sorted out across all industries right now.
Yes. Stephen White also has a follow-up question. Are there any majors mining the same product anywhere near your space?
Yes, we have, particularly the Australians are heavily entrenched and the Chinese are heavily entrenched.
Okay.
But the beautiful thing is we have reached out to a few local representatives. Of course, like I said, that's my upbringing. I've done government contracts back home. I've had a lot of projects with heavy machines and had a lot to do with, you know, that entire system. That's the majority of my experience in business. Like I said, I'm confident based on that experience and the support of our team and the shareholders and the better players we have access to now that and these companies are, the state is very, very open to new players. Maybe the Chinese are not very kind to the people out there, maybe.
Wow. Cade Carter wants to know if you will submit an 8K concerning the joint venture.
Yes.
And Bob Hamilton wants to know, do you currently have any studies on the properties?
Okay, we have the studies we have is not our independent studies. It is the studies of our predecessors that were made public. For example, Joe Vick did an extensive study in Cameroon and discovered a huge, you know, lithium mining belt in the village of Kamunu in my country. That name is tricky because we have, over 500 names in my country alone. So the studies we've been consuming is based on the research of the previous players. But on our team, as we have seriously sourcing experienced team members in that space, we are putting together the best experienced people that have been part of all these research projects.
Okay. Andre Edwards wants you to talk about the current capitalization of the company. Talk about your assets, talk about your debt, and your cash flow.
Okay. New Tech Capital used to be Cybertel. For reasons not clearly known to me, previous management, for whatever reasons, abandoned the company. And I recently, together with my team, bought over the control block of the company. It was actually dormant for a while. And we took it over from Average Capital that got the company through custodianship. So we are picking up a fresh, brand new baby with little or no issues right now, which is even more exciting for us. And we're beginning everything afresh.
Okay. Well, Luke Hampton asks to talk about your team. Tell us about their experience in the space.
Interesting. We have, for now, we have just about 3 geologists on board. One is a professor in the university out there in Congo that has worked with most of these companies. And the other 2 work for lithium mines, one in Congo and the other in my country. That's for our geological department. And then the rest is administration. Administration in terms of board advisors that have advised, tens of public companies in the United States, assisting us with compliance. So right now, we have the scientist, and then I am the politician because my experience is that, and the advisors here that are helping us to stay in compliance and work properly with the SEC.
Okay. Randy R. wants to know if you have any current regulations, or do any current regulations hinder or prohibit your mining?
No.
And Shirley Barker wants to know, are you currently audited? And if not, will you become audited? And if so, who is your auditor?
We would like to become, or we are working to become a fully reporting company and definitely move up from the pink sheets to NASDAQ, definitely, because we are in for the long-term game. This is a company for people that are visionaries, that believe in us and are ready to go long-term. So we will do everything it takes to be as transparent as possible. We've not yet picked an auditor.
Michael Snow wants to know if you have any contacts in the U.S. government regarding lithium exports.
Not yet.
Antonio Cruz wants to know, do you have any resale prospects to any major companies requiring lithium?
Not yet.
Meredith Washington wants to know, how much money will you have to raise to get into production, and how long might this take?
We will begin with an initial of about 10 million, really basic, because in my experience, or in our experience, mining in Africa, mining in Africa is very tricky. You have to be very careful and very tight. If not, you just bleed your shareholders' money to death. So we will go very slowly in really small scale until the entire pipeline is clean. That's the entire pipeline from exploitation, that's after exploration, to export and import into the United States at the smallest possible scale. The issue is to make sure that that entire system is clean and excellent. Then we will scale both exploitation and shipping and everything. So we will be very, very tight. and we'll work really small till we make sure that the system is excellent. And we're really grateful that so far we already have, or I already have, together with my team, experience in the entire negotiation. Most of the money disappears in the lobbying. That's the right choice of word. Lobbying is really tight there. But fortunately, it's our family or friends, and we've been in business with them, and we can negotiate really tight.
Cade Carter has a follow-up question about the 8K. When will you release those studies with the 8K?
Come again?
When will you release the studies with the 8K?
My answer will not be accurate. I'll avoid his question.
Okay. Tavel Rahmani asks, when do you believe the Cameron mine deal will be finalized?
Based on inside information with our players on the ground, the government of Cameroon is speeding up its, they are restructuring everything with respect to lithium mining because of course, huge pressure from international players to get into the space. Fortunately for us, we already are in bed with players that already have local mining licenses, which gives us, that's why we're tying up with them, which gives us immediate access into the mining field.
And Chris Stevens wants to know, where do you see the price of lithium going? And will your production cost increase with it?
I am very optimistic about the price of lithium. First, because of the clean energy movement, and secondly, with personally, I might be mistaken, but I believe that with what we have experienced lately with gas, after this challenge which the world is facing right now, which we pray it dies down really quick, we think that the United States and nations around the world will try to find more sustainable, cleaner forms of energy. Biden stressed that last week in his speech that, following what is going on, it is time, for us to speed up alternative, cleaner, renewable forms of energy. And we strongly believe this is going to be for the long term, except the risk of other minerals come up to speed, because there's constant, but in that event, even in that event, lithium is still very, very critical source of energy, of clean energy, which will definitely stay long. And that does not stop us from, most often these minerals are associated together. So that does not stop us from continuous research and development. Okay. At this stage of our company, most of our partners will be doing a high-risk bet on our team, our experience, and our unwavering commitment to make it happen.
Dave J wants to know, how do you plan to raise money going forward? And will you be looking for an equity raise or debt? And can you give the terms?
Our advisors are considering all those options right now. But the basic interest is to make sure that our shareholders are not, adversely affected. And we're working hard to make sure that if in the worst case scenario we have to go into debt, it should be friendly with the most favorable terms. So our advisors are assisting us in that draft right now, but we are actively seeking funding. And I cannot give those terms right now.
Will you be able to release the studies of the mineral deposits sooner rather than later?
No.
Okay. And
we
Nikhil,
always want to be very accurate. We always want to be as accurate as possible in all our communications. Not just to whet public appetite, but to make sure that, because we're in for the long-term game, I keep saying this, we're in to do right for the long term.
Nikhil Dutta asks if you're planning for any reverse splits to upgrade to the NASDAQ.
That's a hard decision, but that seems like it might be the only trigger we have to pull at some point. But if that has to be done, it has to be done in the complete interest of our shareholders, which I call our foot soldiers and our team. We are working together with them to make sure that, because we believe if we have their support and their commitment, we will make it. So it's all about what is right for us as a people to be able to make the most out of our investments.
Wonderful. Well, Cedric, why don't you give us some closing remarks?
I want to thank you so much for this opportunity. The questions are very brilliant and straight to the point. And we are very open to support intellectually in putting together all these resources for those who are ready to take the bet to believe in us and work with us. So please reach out to us any day, anytime. And our team will work closely to get as much as possible collaboration from you to make sure that we lead the clean energy movement. Let us create a clean future for our kids and a sustainable future, energy future for our kids. Thank you so much.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us on our conference. Please come back again with some future updates.
Unfailingly.
Okay. Thank you all. Stay with us. We're going to transition to the next presenter. We'll be right back.